Okay, we're on to chapter 6, the muscular system. It is on page 56, the CMA study guide, the muscular system. All right, page 57. Again, always some good stuff in the first paragraphs. The muscular system is the system of the body that allows for movement, and underlined also, it provides balance, strength, and posture. So what do the muscular system allow for? Movement and provides
balance, strength, and
there you go. It allows for movement and provides balance, strength, and structure or posture. And of course, there's different kinds of muscles. We got the cardiac muscles, which is your heart. Your smooth muscles, which is your non-striated muscles. They're just up under a microscope. That's how they look. They all look different. And those are, your cardiac works on their own. So does your smooth. But your skeletal muscles are the ones that we control. How many muscles are there in the human body?
600.
Over 600 muscles. And here are your muscle types. This is what I want you to underline. The skeletal. They are most abundant. And they are controlled by the SNS. What does somatic mean? Somatic nervous system. We learned this.
The
body.
Somatic nervous system.
That means
Yes, it's voluntary skeletal muscles. Voluntary skeletal muscles. Fibers bind together by connective tissue into bundles, which makes that muscle. Smooth muscle is part of the ANS. What does ANS stand for? Autonomic. So what is autonomic? Do we do that? Is that voluntary or involuntary? Involuntary. Underline, its smooth muscles are in the layers of the bladder, digestive tract, arteries, veins, various ducts, and internal organs. Underline that. Where are you going to find your smooth muscle? Ducts and internal organs. Same with your cardiac. That's a given. It's going to be in your heart. It's also autonomic, meaning automatic. It's made of smooth and skeletal muscle. It's kind of like a mixture, but it is the heart tissue. So cardiac, heart tissue. So what's the 3 muscle types that we have in our body?
Skeletal, smooth, and cardiac.
Skeletal, voluntary or involuntary? Cardiac.
Involuntary.
Smooth muscles of the gallbladder, of all the kind of things are working. We don't know it. The musculoskeletal system, that's just a combination. And we have to have both to make this body work, and so we can walk around instead of just be a blob somewhere. Basic functions, underline all that. Support, blood cell formation, and remember that other word for blood cell formation, which is hematopoiesis. That don't go away, hematopoiesis, however you pronounce it. I say hematopoiesis. Homeostasis, protection of your vital organs, storage of fatty minerals, and for leverage. We're talking about muscular system, but they're showing you how they work together. Musculoskeletal. That's why they're going to call it musculoskeletal system. In some books, it's just musculoskeletal, and in some books they will separate them. This one actually separates and connects the two. Tissues. It is made of 5 basic tissues. How many basic tissues we got going on? And they are your bones, ligaments. What do ligaments attach to? Bone to bone. Cartilage, that is in our joints. Skeletal muscles, they're everywhere. We're picking it up, putting it down. It's a muscle. And then your tendons. What do tendons do? To what?
they connect the bone to the muscle.
Bone to muscle, right. Whereas ligaments is bone to bone. And you gotta have to know the difference in the two. Bone to bone is what? And bone to muscle? There you go. Each one of the basic tissues contains different combinations of 4 connective tissues, which are the building blocks. And here are your building blocks. Everything that starts as a cell, they're going to call it a blast. Most of your blasts are the first cell that comes out. And they're going to call that the mother cell. The blast is, I always say, it blasts into something, then it grows, but in the beginning it's just nothing, and then it blasts. And that is how I remember all your blasts. Anything with a blast on the end, it's growing, it's making into something else. But that's what it starts. So your fibroblast is the mother cell of your muscle system. And then another building block of all this is your collagen. And put a star by there, you're going to see that in your fibroblast again. It's a principal protein that's produced by fibroblasts, forming strong but non-stretchable fibers. Underline non-stretchable. They're strong, but you can't stretch them. You can bend them a bit. Cartilage, y'all think about where your nose is. We can bend it. Ears, but we can't stretch them. You can put holes in them all day. Don't hurt us bad. But that's your collagen. Elastic fibers are highly elastic, and especially in the walls of your arteries. Elastic fibers in the walls of your arteries. And protoglycans, which is the matrix that actually everything kind of lives there and connects there to make that everything else happen or make your muscle. But you got to have all that going on for your muscles. Function of the muscular system. That is page 59. Just label on the side. Stability and posture, that's 1. 2 is movement of your body parts. 3 is circulation. 4 is heat production. And 5, digestion help. We need all that. And the muscles help do all of that. Stability and posture helps hold our joints in place, helps hold everything in place so we can stand. Movements of your body parts, we know that it's voluntarily. Your skeletal muscles are voluntary. Your circulation, just you walking, moving, sitting up, just doing things is for your circulation. They'll tell you to get up and walk. If you're sitting too long, you don't want to sit too long. What does blood do when it sits too long? What does blood do in that tube? It clots 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes. I said that. But you don't want to be sitting around too long. You want to move around on purpose because that's what blood does. If it tends to gather up somewhere, guess what? It's possibility of a clot. Something happens when people go into the air. It's weird. But in the airplane, they'll tell you, you are very susceptible to blood clots. And I don't know what it is. A healthy person gets on there, and next thing you know, they got blood clot. What happened? And you're sitting there, but it's a different kind of something going on up there, the gravity or something. But they're always saying you move around. You in a car too long, move around, do something. Keep some, and they really mean. Truck drivers have to get out every so often and walk around for circulation, or else they have to clock it in. Like I've done this. Or else, you're sitting too long, what's going to happen? Possible blood clot. So that's circulation. Your muscles help in circulation. Heat production. We love our muscles because anytime you're really cold, you just run around. Just run around. And you ain't got no excuse. Go run around. Tell the children that. They don't want to hear that. But then the wind is going to make my face cold. I've heard this. Because I told, eventually... You see the people that's running in the cold? They're not cold like that. They've heated up themselves. Their muscles are working. I always say the same thing, that my hands are freeze. My hands get cold. And my nose, my face. But do the right thing and you won't be warm. Cold. Yeah, you got to get it started. People that swim in the cold water.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't get that. But half of it's all about heat production. And digestion help. Of course, we got muscles in your digestive system as well. Muscles. And there's different kinds of muscles. Again, I don't want y'all to go digging and learning, and they don't actually on this one. They don't go digging either. Just know in your facial, you've got your zygomatic and your masseter muscles. And a lot of y'all have some very, and I'm just saying that, very influenced and exercised masseter muscles. The people that talk too much. Tell them you know, you need to slow your masseter down. What? Or you need to shut your masseter. Don't let your masseter move so much. But anyway, if you try to if you're learning, use these words, and just a good way to learn is to tell somebody else what you're learning.
I know, I'm telling
It
my
really is.
husband, he's like, I'm just like, just let me talk to you.
Let him pretend, and you tell him to pretend
Yeah.
to like it and ask questions,
Pretend like it. Thank
and tell him
you.
to ask questions.
Talking about, can I read this?
In LPN school, I had this one fellow. He wanted to go to LPN school, but I would tell him he was my best friend, and I would tell him when I learned it, he'd be like, "What? I can't believe that." I was like, "Yeah," and it does this, and then she, you know, and then you know, I don't know. I explained all the way down to the level,
Explain it.
so she could, or he could get it. And I'm telling you, he could have took the same test I took, cause I explained it to him like that, and he listened and he asked questions. Tell him to ask questions. Act like he want to know. But it really does. It really helps.
Look at this. No, I can't look.
Your neck muscles are sternocleidomastoid muscles. Sternocleidomastoid. Anyways, it's telling you what is everything. It's connected to your sternum, your clavicle, and your mastoid muscles. So it's this one that actually controls all this. And that's how your muscles are labeled. They're gonna be what bone did it connect to, what body part, or what region.
Doing the anatomy class.
Oh yeah, anatomy. They're gonna make you label all of them.
Yeah,
And matter of fact, in college, when I was going to do my first, and I did pretty decent, they would take a piece of muscle and lay it down. A piece of bone, especially. They were good with the bones. They just leave. And it could be some little bone this big, and you're thinking, is it a wrist bone, maybe? Or what bone is that? Or point to a little hole in the brain. You got little holes in here, back there. What is the name of that hole? I mean, shoot. But I actually knew all that stuff then. But we're not going that deep. You do need, underlying bicep brachii muscle, which moves forearm close to the body, and the tricep brachii, and the brachialis that allows for pushing. So underline that. Of course, you got your shoulder, that's your trapezius, and your deltoid and rhomboid muscles. They move your shoulder around. Your thorax, anything thoracic, they're talking about your chest areas. Abdomen, internal obliques, external obliques, those are the ones that got you moving. Let the hip you go. Your hip, you're gonna hear a lot of that. Your gluteus maximus and medius, because y'all might be giving shots there. At least your gluteus medius, that's the one on the side. That's where you actually get your shots. Gluteus maximus is the one that actually is across, but your medius is like right there, which is the better place to get your shot. Pelvis thigh. You got that vastus lateralis. You'll need to know that one. That is the one you actually can give an injection into also. And it's the one in your leg, in your vastus lateralis. That's just your leg, thigh muscle. Then you have your leg, the tibialis anterior. Tibialis is your bone is called the tibia. So on top of it is the tibialis anterior. But don't go digging. But you do need to know every definition here on page 61. Atony. It means your muscles are floppy and lacking their normal elasticity. So as a definition, muscles are what?
Floppy
And lacking their normal.
elasticity.
There you go. Get that in your head. And know the difference in atony and atrophy, where atrophy is actually degeneration of your muscle tissues. It just goes away. Where your atony, they're there, but they just not really working so well. Atrophy, your muscles actually retreat. They get smaller. Then you're going to have to know the difference in cramp and spasm and strain and sprain. A cramp is an involuntary contraction of skeletal muscles. Underline, contraction of skeletal. And it's involuntary. Of course, we don't make a cramp. But it's skeletal muscles. That's the main difference. A cramp is of your skeletal muscle, where your spasm is of your involuntary muscles. So get those straight in your head. A cramp, contraction of the skeletal muscles, and usually painful. A spasm doesn't have to be painful. It can just be. Have you ever felt something just flutter in your stomach? Like, what is that?
Like your eye.
That's just that too. Spasms. You know, you didn't make that happen, and it's not a muscle that you would normally move. It's but that is the spasm. Sometimes they are painful, especially when people are paralyzed. They have some of the painfulest spasms where if you've ever seen anything just jump, your eye jumps, just things jump. But that's your difference, your involuntary. A cramp, oh, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna be painful, gonna be, and you're gonna feel it. That is your muscles, like you would normally move this toe. If I move my toe, and if I just move it the wrong way, I might could feel it, or my back of my muscle, the back of my leg. Have you ever you could do that now, and try to make a muscle, just some weird way that you hadn't done in a while, and you'll catch a cramp.
If you get like a Charlie horse, I did run.
Same thing. What's a Charlie horse?
Cramp.
Cramp.
I would have to pull my leg upwards and it would go away.
That is
I used to cry when I was young.
Yes, you'd be like,
It
oh,
hurts.
what did you do?
I
Here's
went
one. If you go backwards like this, but I could bow it if I try, but you know, just remind me, having sex,
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Doing it in the right position.
especially a guy would be like, oh, wait a minute, I got a cramp. Anyway, but that's the difference. It's gonna be painful and it's gonna be on the muscle that you normally move. Okay, so remember that. Hopefully, y'all remember that. Fibrositis, it's an inflammation of the connective tissues. It could be in muscles of your back. A lot of people have it in their back. And that's that back pain. Fatigue, we know what that is. Occurs after longer periods of activity. Myositis. What does itis mean?
Inflammation.
Inflammation. Myo is
Muscles.
muscle, so it's inflammation of your muscle. Inflammation of muscle fibers that can lead to degenerative changes. And it can be caused by parasitic or bacterial infections. Something's causing it to inflame. Something happened. Most times it's bacterial or parasitic. A spasm, it's a sustained involuntary contraction. Can occur as part of a disorder like spastic paralysis as a response to a painful condition. But a lot of times, to help you remember the difference, that spasm can be anywhere. It's of the involuntary, though. Underlying involuntary muscle contraction. Spasticity is increase of the state of readiness of muscle fibers to contract. Your muscles, you want a spasticity of your muscles, normally. But if they are overreacting, you don't want that. And I always equal this to like your restless legs, you know, that, and you really feel like that just every time I say that, because I have restless legs. It makes me want to just get up and walk and use my muscles. But that's what I have to do. And I tell everybody, if you got that restless legs, you'll know it because you'll feel like you got a little energy. Not that you got just a ton of energy. It's just that you want to, something tells you you'll feel better if you walk.
If people run.
Yeah. And at least if you're not walking or something, use these muscles. Tense them up and let them go. Because that's what's happening. Something in there it's ready. It's like, okay, we want to work, but you ain't working. You're sitting still. But it's a potential, like a charge up in there ready to go. And if you just tighten them up and relax them and help make those things move, you'll feel a little better. Not that that's going to cure you, but it will help a whole lot. Some people just have it, and they got to take some medication. But I don't like medication. But I could, in the middle of the night, if you lay down and you just feel that urge, I really just could get up and start running. That I bet you got restless legs. But that's that feeling. But that's what you got to do. You got to tighten them and release. Because there's something in that positive, negative charges that's way, way little in them little bitty membranes that's happening. And something's going on right there. But that's your spasticity. A sprain. And know the difference in these two. A sprain is an injury to the ligament. And a lot of people say they sprain the ankle. It's not a muscle. You sprain a ligament. Now, you would strain a muscle, and that's overstretching or excessive work of your muscle. So you sprain a what?
A ligament.
and you strain a muscle, okay? Muscles are a little easier to stretch. So that's why you can strain them more. I'm trying to help you remember, whereas a sprain, you just sprained it, you injured it, you messed it up. That is your ligaments, which are a lot less able to stretch and move around. All right. That was chapter 6. Know your definitions.